Morning. Certainly hadn't planned on taking a photo this morning or working on my project. I woke up. I was going to go into work even with the shelter-in-place restrictions for the COVID virus. I do have some work I can do without actually being open. So I was going to do that this morning. A little bit of snow last night, and I woke up and it's just beautiful fog. And fog is so rare these days. To get a fog in the morning and then have the ability to get out and actually get a photo in it, I thought I'm going to have to do it. So I decided to come out here tonight, out to Peck Wetlands Forest Preserve this morning. I'll flip my camera around here. I just saw something pretty interesting. Well, I'd say that was a success. The fog's starting to lift a little bit. I actually took 2 photos. Took one of the solitary tree, and I took one back into that right there. Hopefully one of them is going to come out really well. Tried a couple different things as far as exposures. Used a couple of ND filters to slow my shutter speed down a little bit. Gosh, it's just beautiful out here. Maybe instead of going to work, I'll just hang out here at the Forest Preserve all day. Take a little walk here, back toward the truck. Those geese are going to be happy to see me leave, though, I can tell you that. Man, the coyote activity out here on this little levee is pretty thick. There are tracks everywhere. Still see the beaver dragging his tail. I don't know what that was. That looks like he might have gone back down into the water there. I don't know. I'd kind of like to see what that was. Anyhow, just fantastic out here. Quiet, kind of eerie, very monochromatic. It's my kind of morning. Looking back, let me spin around here, looking back that way. Boy, that'd have been a beautiful shot as well. Man, it's just so freaking cool out here. I just love it. I love it. I hadn't really planned on taking a photo this morning, but after I saw that fog, I thought, man, I got to do something. It's just beautiful out there. And I'm glad I stopped out here. I had another spot I've had in mind for a fog photo for several years, and I just have never been able to make it work. And I thought about going in there this morning, giving it a try, and I thought, man, I'm going to get in there and there's not going to be any fog and I'm going to waste my time. But I knew that this spot was going to be good, so I thought, this is kind of on the way. I'm going to stop here, check it out, and it was worth the stop. So I'm going to sign off here. We'll get back to the dark room and we'll probably develop these up and take a look at them on the light table and such. You know the routine. Have a good one. I found that the best way to deal with this COVID-19 quarantine stay-at-home thing is spend time in my darkroom. So I'm taking my week 12 photo that I took the other day in the fog, and I'm looking at the negatives right now. I'm trying to figure out which one I'm going to print, but I'm going to make an 11 by 14 silver gelatin print out of this one. I need to spend more time in my darkroom. It's just like everybody. It's just finding the time to do it, and this is the ideal time. So why don't you join me, and I'll show you how I'm going to make this print. Trying to decide which print I like better, the one with the single tree in the fog, or the one where I cut back to the east a little bit and got the multiple trees. I think I'm going to take a look at them both under the enlarger and see what I think. I'm not sure how well that's going to show up on the camera here, but this is the second shot I took. This is facing back to the east a little bit. Got multiple trees in there, a lot of fog. It's very shallow. I actually shot this at almost wide open because I really wanted a shallow depth of field. I did get a couple of geese on the side there that I didn't even realize were there until I developed the film, which is kind of cool. So that's shot number one. I don't know how well you can even see that, but I'll put the second one in there as well, and you can take a look at that. I use a Bessler, they call it a Nega flat negative holder. What it does, it actually grabs the edges and pulls it taut, almost like a drum skin. It's very tight, and it gives you a really nice flat negative, so you don't have to worry about any distortion caused by the negative not being flat, being a little bit warped or whatever in your holder. I find it works really well. Now there's a couple other varieties out there. You can get one with a anti-Newton glass that prevents the swirls from the two glossy surfaces touching. I've never really had much luck with those. I prefer this method a lot better. Pick this up on eBay, and you can get them. They're kind of expensive, but in my opinion, it's definitely worth it if you're going to enlarge 4x5 film. It's worth a couple $100 or whatever you have to pay for it. It will definitely pay for itself. Let's take a look at the second negative here. As you can see, that one's a whole lot lighter. In fact, it's almost impossible to see. Let me see if I can bring it over here and give you a better view of this. There's some very faint detail, and to be quite honest, that's kind of what I was going for when I took the photo, is I really just wanted that tree to stand out, and I wanted the rest of it just to kind of get lost in the fog. So I think I'm going to start with this one as a print, and we're going to make some test strips here and see what kind of exposure we need, and we'll go from there. So there's the first test strip with the 0 filter, 4-second increments. I'll take a look at it real close here and see what I want for exposure. I'll also do the same thing now with the 5 filter. So the 0 filter is going to give me my highlights. The 5 filter is going to give me my blacks. We'll find out what times work best in there. Looks pretty good to me, actually. I'm not sure. We probably got, we got what, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, I'm going to say possibly. 20 seconds might be a good spot to start. I see some whites in there. You really got to be careful judging wet prints, though. They definitely darken up as they dry. So I'm going to finish fixing this. I'm going to squeegee it. I might even dry it with a hair dryer and get a good look at it before I make any determinations of what my exposure will be. There's my first test print, or we'll call this a working print. I kind of like it. It's got some stuff that I like. I definitely didn't get the paper square in the easel. Good thing this is only a working print and not the final print. I ended up doing 12 seconds with the 0 filter and 12 seconds with the 5 filter. We actually worked out to about 12 and 10, and I decided just to make them 12 and 12. I got kind of lazy, didn't feel like changing the timer. At any rate, 2 seconds didn't make a whole lot of difference. Yeah, I kind of like it. I am going to tweak it some more here. Like I said, this is just the working print. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit more detail back here in the shoreline. Maybe just a touch darker on the tree. Everything else is pretty white. I mean, that's really what the scene looked like that morning. You could see nothing in the background. Pretty decent detail in the tree down in here and in the reflection. So I wouldn't mind bringing that, a little more contrast to that. I'm going to play around with it here. We'll let this one fix, and I'm going to dry it so I can get a real good idea where I'm at. It's always a good idea. And we'll make another print here. All right, this is print number 2. I think we're getting closer. In fact, this one might even make it. I decreased the 0 filter time down to 9 seconds from 12. And then I increased the number 5 filter from 12 to 15. Definitely got some more detail in the shoreline across from the tree. And I definitely increased some blacks in the tree. So it stands out a little bit more, although you can still tell it's very foggy out there. And really, this is exactly what the scene looked like to me that morning. So this is a pretty good representation. I think I'm going to be pretty happy with this, but I really won't know until it dries. So we're going to go ahead and finish fixing this. We've got another 4 minutes of fixing time, and then we're going to wash it. Give it a good archival wash, and then I'm going to dry it down. And we'll determine at that point, once it's dry, if I really like it or not. But so far as a wet print, I think I kind of like it. And finally, here's the negative for the print, the working print for the second negative. I think we might have nailed this one on the first shot. I'm real happy with the detail in there. Got some good whites, some good blacks, lots of nice grays. Even got a couple of geese down in here. Kind of cool. Didn't realize I had gotten those when I took the photo. I knew there was geese out there, but I didn't realize they were in the frame. And when I looked at the negative, there they were. So that's negative number 2, and I think that's the keeper for me. It's we're gonna let it dry, finish fixing it here, and then I'm gonna dry it. But I think that's probably gonna be the one that I'm gonna call week 12. And there they are, the finished prints, although not completely dry. They are hanging to dry here. But I think we nailed it. I'm real happy with what I'm seeing. Got some really nice detail. I love the fog and the very faint detail in the shoreline on the background of that one. And then we come over here. This one's a little more bold. This was actually Tri-X 320. I did use 2 ND filters on this one, and I shot this at f5.6. Where this one, I shot straight up 210 millimeter, no ND filters, but I shot it like f45. So it's a little bit longer exposure, and I was trying to kind of flatten out the reflection and just kind of get an overall more of a foggy kind of effect. And this one, I just kind of went for it. That's how I got the geese to stop motion, I guess, because this was probably at a 30th of a second or something like that. I don't remember exactly where I exposed it, but I'm real happy with both exposures, both prints. Get these dried up, flatten them out tomorrow, probably throw them in a frame. But so far, I would say week 12 is a resounding success.